Hey guys, Brian Bradley coming to you from Ping Pong for Good. Right now we're going to go over the just balancing the ball on the racket, whether you choose the black side or the red side. For me, the forehand is my red side. So I'm going to go just like this, and I'm going to relax my shoulders, have them fall down and back. If you can notice, my feet are pretty straight without me even having to think about it. I don't really stand like this. That to me is kind of unloading one side versus the other. Get balanced on your feet. I do go barefoot because it allows me to ground and feeds more information through the ligaments and everything in my foot back to the nervous system. But you can see I have pretty good control of this. I'm going to try this real quick on the backhand side, just the same way. Okay. Same idea. Once it's stable, it's stable. And remember, you do have two sides. So we want to go to the second side, same grip as if I were a left-hander in this position, and put the ball out there. Relax the shoulders. I can tell you right now, I'm gripping the paddle harder on this side. I may feel, I don't know, my body, maybe the confidence in my left hand versus my right. And that's a key thing to talk about, because what you do with your right hand all day long, if you're a right-hander, overloads the system and we become possibly imbalanced. So I force myself to do a lot of things left-handed, whether it's brushing my teeth, brushing my hair, even though this is the hair. I mean, it looks like I don't brush it. But you're basically looking at the balance mechanism from the supinated position to the pronated position, and this would be my backhand with the hand rolled over on this side. And if you remember, this is a progression from us handing the ball from one hand to the other. You have to take your arms and forearms through this position. I'm going to try this again on my right side and bring some progressions into this. I'm going to try it a little wider, which there is good feedback in going wider. It loads your hips up differently. And in the line of work that I do outside of Ping Pong for Good, this is what I do with our professional athletes and amateur athletes. We get them to become a hip-driven athlete versus an upper body athlete. Now, if I were an upper body, meaning my shoulders were all rounded over here and I'm going to my upper body for all my strategies, that's a problem. So the wide base would be something you would choose. Here, when we have our feet together, I'm actually pretty stable. Maybe it's because I'm used to standing in this position most of the time, but it's a smaller surface area. And I'm going to try looking at you doing the same thing. That's another progression. I could look away where I can see the ball and the paddle just out of my periphery and trying to control it with minimal hand movement. And of course we go pronation, then to the other hand. This is in a compromised, smaller surface area. And this is the major smaller surface area. When I stand tandem like this, I can put the weight 50-50 between front and back foot, and for sure I can feel my legs, lower legs especially. The ankle strategy is doing this to try to balance on the ground. Very good for your feet, by the way, and if you're having balance issues, this might be a good idea, even if you're holding on to something beside you, your partner, another person, or a step ladder or a wall. This would be a progression of this. And then a further progression would be, let's stand on one leg. And I don't like to go real high. I would say, just get my toe where it's real light into the ground, get my balance, and then lift the foot off the ground. And when I need to, that left foot is really gripping. So this is a leg that I've had 2 ACL reconstructions and a torn labrum in my hip in the past. Don't race downhill mountain bikes. It's gonna grab you sooner or later. It was a dumb sport. But when you look at this, I can feel that my left foot for sure is gripping differently than my right, which would be the one that I've had less injuries to. And once I'm up there, I feel like the whole ankle is providing the strategy versus my toes digging into the ground. So notice little things like that when you go through these progressions. Remember, it's not a race through the progression, it's what can I do and kill the judgment. There's zero judgment on starting at one level and going to the other. It's almost like I'd rather have it be a horizontal line from one to the other versus, hey, you started here and you went there. They're all equally beneficial for your body.
Depth or the distance of those steps. This one's very challenging because you're essentially traveling. And there's 2 things traveling: the ball, the paddle, and your body. And you have to organize all of them. This is going to really help with coordination. It's going to help with footwork. It's going to help with visual attention. A lot of great benefits here. Marching in place, marching with the turns, And we can even go ambulatory a little bit. Start walking back and forth, almost as Trent was starting to do, where he was moving, but instead of moving back to that central point, actually taking several steps in one direction and then coming back.